My lords, today we shall address a piece of history close to the heart of the Commonwealth of Man. I talk, of course, about the events that were fundamental in the founding of the Commonwealth as the empire that it is today. The Ulysses Initiative was launched in 2048 by the United Nations. The project was to date the greatest undertaking by humanity. It was designed to take humanity to another solar system, the Alpha Centauri system no less. But alas, as you know, we would never reach it. Under the Ulysses Initiative, 6 wonderful ark ships were constructed. These great vessels included the Chrysanthemum, our own ship, and the Hyacinth, which is the focus of this report. These ships would house 250,000 colonists each, men and women who volunteered to explore the stars, and who would become the founders of the Commonwealth of Man. All 6 ships would travel together towards a recently discovered subspace phenomenon at the outer edge of our solar system, just beyond the Oort cloud. The colonists would be put in cryostasis for the duration. However, upon reaching the edge of our solar system and entering the Oort cloud, this anomaly turned out to be an unstable wormhole. All 6 ships were cast out across the galaxy, and our ship, the Chrysanthemum, ended up in the Deneb system, which would soon become our home. Fortunately, our crew managed to land on Unity, which was the moon of a large gas giant which we would later name Olympus, after the Pavilion of Gods. Humanity found its second home on Unity, but the remaining 5 ark ships were nowhere to be seen, and the 250,000 colonists aboard the Chrysanthemum were alone. Or at least, that's what we initially thought. But that's a story for another day. This report shall detail our search for the other 5 ark ships, for there are 1.5 million people missing, and perhaps they needed our help. Captain Dallas led the search for the other ark vessels, and I shall detail his report for you now. We have found no traces of the 4 ark ships that passed through the wormhole before the Chrysanthemum. One ship, however, the Hyacinth, was scheduled to make the passage after us. The Chrysanthemum's long-range sensors reported a brief energy spike from the wormhole shortly before it destabilized and vanished. Assuming the Hyacinth survived the passage and made it into our galactic neighborhood, the ark ship so far has failed to establish contact with us. It may be a good idea to search nearby systems for its presence. Sensors had already identified 3 nearby systems with signs of advanced alien activity: the Cathia system, the Volmir system, and the Brigaphus system. Thus, we set course to investigate. The first system we surveyed was the Cathia system. Sadly, there was no sign of the Hyacinth here, but I am pleased to note that we identified an ancient storm shelter and a bizarre asteroid which had been hollowed out and apparently used as some sort of pirate smuggling bay. Interesting indeed. But we moved our search onto the Volmir system, and it was here we struck proverbial gold. My science officer managed to isolate a residual ion trail that, upon analysis, turned out to be identical to the one that was produced by the Chrysanthemum's engines. Thus, it must have originated from the Hyacinth. Although the faint ion trail was over a century old, my science officer managed to track it on an outbound trajectory towards a previously uncharted star system. We have pinged the coordinates back to Unity and have ordered that we make haste with this uncharted system. We soon arrived in system, and there was much fanfare among the crew, for we have located the Hyacinth. The great ark ship is parked in a stable orbit over a barren planet that we have yet to name. Its power status is sketchy at best. Its outer lights appear to be working and its rings are spinning, but it is unclear whether life support is active, and its engines appear to be deactivated. Despite this, we are not picking up any distress beacon, and there is no outwardly obvious sign of battle. It doesn't appear that this ship was attacked or taken by force, but our hails have gone unanswered. I'm putting together a boarding party to investigate the ship's interior. I will lead it personally, and I hope we find someone aboard. Upon opening the hatch into the Hyacinth's cargo bays, it was quite obvious quickly what happened here. There were bodies everywhere. Blood stained the walls, and signs of small arms fire were abundant. Many of the corpses were thin, incredibly thin and gaunt. Perhaps they died of starvation. Others, I'm sorry to say, had clear tooth marks on the flesh and bone. To me, it was quite clear that they were signs of cannibalism. A truly awful way to go. We soon established from a search of their engineering department that their drive core had suffered critical damage, though it is unclear if this had happened before or after whatever riot must have occurred here. We continued to search until we found the bridge of the ship. Here we found the captain, a Ronald F. Gunderson, whose corpse looked as though he had been beaten violently to death. It was a mess. It was from the bridge that we were able to retrieve the ship's computer and recover the captain's log from the archives. The video was scrambled, but the audio still worked. Ark ship Hyacinth, designation ISA 06, United Nations Ulysses Initiative, officer logbook, Captain Ronald F. Gunderson, accessing data, corruption detected, attempting repair, all log entries successfully recovered. Log 1, mission date 345.5. We are 2 months out of Earth and proceeding on course. Things have gone smoothly so far. The colonists are fast asleep, and Dr. Kolbeck has reported strong vitals across the board. Our journey has taken us beyond the outer planets, and we're now approaching the Oort cloud. We will soon reach this subspace anomaly, the supposed wormhole that the other Ark ships have already entered. I've made my reservations about wormhole travel known in previous log entries, but we'll know if this works soon enough. Log 2, mission date 387.2. We actually made it. Astronavigation is still working on getting a fix on our position, but judging by the stars outside, I think that it's a safe bet that we're not in Kansas anymore. Unfortunately, the Hyacinth has suffered a major engineering casualty that has resulted in the complete loss of power, and we are currently running on batteries alone. Dr. Kolbeck has informed me that we may need to wake up the colonists. I'm on my way down to engineering to see why Maggie is taking her sweet time in getting the reactor up and running. Hopefully we can get underway soon and begin our search for our sister ship, the Chrysanthemum. Log 3, mission date 422.7. The situation, I'm sorry to report, has gone from bad to worse. There is no longer any realistic hope of restarting the reactor. The last of the Hyacinth's power reserve was spent in our attempt to reach this misbegotten system. I'd hoped to find some place habitable to set her down, but sadly there was no such luck. We've got enough juice in the batteries to keep life support going for a few years, but with 250,000 colonists up and about, the Hyacinth's food supplies won't last a month. I've called a meeting with all departments. We need to come up with some sort of plan. Log 4, mission date 459.9. This will likely be my final log. My bridge crew is dead or missing, and a group of colonists are trying to force their way onto the bridge as I speak. Our main food supplies ran out weeks ago, and there are now reports of cannibalism. I managed to hide a small stash of food for the crew to try and keep the old girl running for a little longer. I was hoping for some sort of miracle, I guess. But when the surviving colonists found out, they're through the doors. Back, damn you, keep your distance. I'm the captain of this ship, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let you butcher me. We now have a pretty clear picture of the grim fate that befell the Hyacinth. Had circumstances been different, this could very well have been the Chrysanthemum, drifting in system like a silent tomb. A somber reminder of the dangers humanity is faced with in a cold and uncaring universe. I've ordered the Hyacinth to be towed into low orbit of Unity and converted into a museum. The human remains will have to be cleaned out, of course. Despite its tragic history, the Ark ship is almost identical to the one that brought our ancestors here from Earth, and our sociologists could learn much from it, and our people will no doubt treat it with the appropriate level of reverence. We also recovered the ornamental figurehead from the Hyacinth to display in our grand archive. It bears several inspirational inscriptions and symbols of hope, and it seems fitting to take up a prominent place in our archive. Long should we remember what happened here, or it could have been us. Thanks for watching, folks. A dark story indeed. If you want to hear more from me, then please click the video on screen now.